Okay, hello everyone. It's Victor from Japanese for Morons, and
Maggie です。
Maggie Sensei has written as you can see in front of you, a lesson on yoyaku, which is how to make a reservation in Japanese. And we're going to go through it with you to help you. If you don't know about this site, then where have you been? MaggieSensei.com is the site we're talking about. And this is a very new lesson. So we're going to, sometimes we do this, we're going to go through and read with you. Now this particular opening picture is the way all lessons begin. A little introduction. As you can see, Maggie has three little friends there, so there's four of her. And the question here that the staff will ask you on the telephone is,
ご予約は何名様ですか?
Notice it says nan-mei-sama. Some more casual restaurants might say nan-nin-sama. But mei is more polite, nan-mei-sama. Mei is this kanji here. You might recognize it as the first kanji of Nagoya or namae as well. And because Maggie is a small dog, we will use the counter of hiki. So she will answer
4匹です。
for small animals. Okay. Now, as you can see here, Yukari's actually done some of the dialogue already.
ご予約は何名様ですか?
See? So you can do that at home. What we're going to do today for you is scroll down with you. Just give you some notes about this. One of the things to remember is usually when you're looking for a restaurant, or if you want to find a restaurant, you want to use the Townshi. And this is a local magazine. Local magazines have all the interesting information. Now, recently we have things on the net called taberu rogu. I'm sorry. I want to say it comes from taberu plus log together and it becomes taberogu. This is of course the kanji for to eat. Taberu. Whoops, what happened there? Oh, it defines that. Interesting. That's the kanji for to eat, and the last part of it, notice, is katakana, because that's the word for rogu, which is a log where you write things down. Over here you have a double katakana or gairaigo word. Gourmet in Japanese is guru, and navigation in Japanese is nabi. So together they are Gurunabi. And another similar word is, well, it's the same, isn't it? It's the same. So this is actually a site you can go, Gurunabi. And they have information about restaurants of all different genres, or as in Japanese you will hear in a minute, genre. Now notice that the word restaurant in Japanese is not restauranto, but it's restaurant. And if you're looking for something, you're going to want to kensaku it. Kensaku is a search. Kensaku. So, if you are searching, there are many ways to search. Probably you will want somewhere nearby, so you will want to find a place in your area, which is the area mei, the name of the area. So you will look for your area and click on that. Then, of course, you'll probably be in the mood for a certain kind of food. That's the genre, but in Japanese you would say genre. And you can use this word also for the genre of movies you like or music you like, things like that. The tenmei is the name of the restaurant. Ten actually is mise, which is store or shop, and mei, of course, is name. Then, of course, we have telephone and etc. And you can kensaku or search for things using these. And of course, one more very important one. The yosan. What is Maggie Sensei's yosan usually?
1000 yen.
So she's a cheap dog, 1,000 yen. I would say I'm like 2,000 yen because I need to eat a lot. So yosan is the budget, right? And you can use the yosan for other things in your life as well. Now, a very useful word is if you are one of those people who really have trouble with foreign words, and there are a lot of people like that. That's a shame because Japan has such cool food, such interesting foods. But you may want to stick to yoshoku if you have a delicate stomach. Yo, of course, means Western, and you will see this word later in yoshitsu, or what was the other word for Western room? Yoshitsu. That's it. Yoshitsu. And if you're like me and you really enjoy sitting down when you take care of business, you may need a yoshiki, which is a Western style toilet. So be careful. Of course, the opposite of all these would be wa. Change the first letter to wa. You have washoku, which is Japanese food, as you see a little bit later down here. Right here, washoku. And the same wa here, which ironically, interestingly enough, means peace. Washoku would be Japanese food. Washitsu would be Japanese style room, and washiki would be Japanese-style toilet. Now, when we're talking about food today, let's get back to that topic. These words are a little bit difficult to pronounce because they're Japanized. So listen closely as we do these. French food is?
フレンチ、
Italian food?
イタリアン、
Chinese food? That should be easier.
中華、
中華。
中華料理、
So you can just say chuka. That's fine too. Right? Korean food?
韓国料理、
Kankoku ryori. Okay. Okay, and then of course Japanese food we did a second ago, washoku.
和食、
And then ramen, there's so many ramen restaurants here.
ラーメン、
Okay, in English ramen, but of course ramen, you drag out the A. And then Korean barbecue.
焼肉、
Now, unlike Korean barbecue in other countries, Korean barbecues in Japan are mostly in name only. If you go inside, it looks pretty Japanized. It doesn't have a really heavy Korean feel to it, like a lot of Korean restaurants in America or other countries do. And of course, a very popular dish with the Japanese sumo is
鍋、
and they're big bowls of food. Yummy, yummy. Now, my favorite place to go, and this is one reason I can't move back to America, is because I love izakayas. Izakaya.
居酒屋、
Izakaya. And I think there are very few in America. I heard there's some in LA. There's probably one or two in New York, but they're very, very rare in America. I don't know why, because they're delicious. They serve lots of different kinds of foods. And other words that are very useful are these tabehodai and nomihodai, which is all you can eat and all you can drink. Tabe, of course, is eat, and nomi is drink. The ending hodai can also be seen, for example, all you can sing at a karaoke or karaoke restaurant, which would be
歌い放題、
yes. And if you go to some kind of school where you can take all the lessons for one price, that would be what, ukehodai?
受け放題、
So you can do all kinds of different hodais, all you can whatever, right? Let's get to the vocabulary here. Enkai is, of course, a party. Enkai. Now, at the end of the year, you have a special kind of enkai.
忘年会ね、
Bonenkai, that's my favorite. You drink so much of those things. Be careful. End of the year, it's actually literally the forgetting party. Another word that we learned recently on the Give Me a Flake Man channel is Joshikai.
女子会、
And Joshikai, and Joshi is, of course, young lady. And when you're doing search on the search engine, you may not want any of these, in which case you would click none of the above or none specified, which is
指定なし、
shitei nashi. So no specification. Shi, the first kanji there just means finger. And te is to decide something. So no decision. No finger decision, right? Okay, now you can also search by popularity. You can see which restaurants are very popular. And you have the ranking for lunch
昼のランキング、
or the ranking for dinner.
夜のランキング、
And you can, when you do click a restaurant, they'll give you click on a restaurant on one of these Nabi, Guru Nabi internet sites. You will see the restaurant information, which in Japanese is
お店情報、
Omise, of course, is the actual shop or restaurant. Omise could be any kind of store or restaurant. Of course, in this case, a restaurant. And then Joho is the information. When you go to these Omise Johos, when you click here, you may see some photos, some photographs, and these are on the
写真ギャラリー、
Shashin is, of course, photograph. Gyarari is gallery. So these are the pictures that the people who have visited there have posted. And if you want to hear what their opinions are, you might click on the
口コミ、
Kuchi means mouth, and komi comes from communication. So it's a pretty good explanation of word of mouth, isn't it? And of course, you also want to hear what the critics say or what their ratings are. And so you would click on the
評価、
Shoka is just the reviews, and this might be in the form of stars, 4 stars or 5 stars or whatever. Of course, we also want to know how much this costs. So this is very important for, I think, most of us.
平均予算、
Heikin yosan. Now, heikin is average. So you will use that in other situations, of course, heikin. And yosan, of course, is the budget, so average budget. What you should expect to spend at this place. Another word that's a little bit different depending on the situation in Japan is
メニュー、
a menu in Japanese could refer to an actual list of what that restaurant serves, but it also can refer to an actual dish. For example, kyo no menu could be, for example, fried chicken or whatever, or onigiri, and that would be today's special. Okay. Now, in old-fashioned restaurants, in the old days, they don't, of course, use the word menu because it's a gairaigo, a modern word imported from the English language. But in the old days, they used the word
お品書き
oshinagaki. Now, oshina literally means honorable product. The O there is honorable O, polite form, and shina is just a product. That's the kanji for product. Gaki means written down or something that has been written. So list of products is the oshinagaki. And of course, you also need to get to the restaurant, so you will definitely want to click on the
チーズ
chizu, okay, the map. And some of these sites offer something that in English is a coupon, but in Japanese pronunciation is
クーポン
coupon, the coupon. And don't be surprised if the coupon or coupon is just a little bit. Of course, in the West, we're used to 50% off, 75% off type deals. But in Japan, they're usually not so generous. It's something like 10% off. And here's an example.
飲食代金より 10% オフ
Inshoku daikin yori 10% off. Now, in is drink, shoku is eat. So inshoku is eating and drinking. Daikin is the bill, how much it will cost, and yori is from. So take 10% off from the bill of your food. And that's a 10% discount on your bill. Sometimes you might see something like
デザートにアイスクリームプレゼント
Now notice that is a katakanized form of almost all Western words, right? Dessert, ice cream, and present. But in Japanese,
デザートアイスクリームプレゼント
it's a very different pronunciation, so be careful. If you do say ice cream or present, no one will understand, or they may not understand. Here we have another dialogue, which Yukari has already done the sound files for, so please check those out. I do want to pause here for a second. Be sure to remember that every object, every kind of thing, a different shaped thing or person, a human living creature, whatever, has a different counter. And for people, you just have to memorize them. For people, for example, one person is,
1人
two people are,
2人
and three people are,
3人
and four people are,
4人
and it goes on and on and on. And animals, small animals, not big animals, small animals would be,
匹
but if they're two or three or four, for example, one would be ippiki, two would be nihiki, three would be sambiki,
3匹
and four would be yonhiki. And it goes on and on. And gohiki,
5匹
gohiki, roppiki.
6匹
So this is always I'm always a little nervous doing this to make sure I can still do it. Okay. You got to practice that. And like I said, there's no way to really learn that except do it. Okay. Let's go. This has already been done. Okay, here we go. Another vocabulary section here. Zashiki. Zashiki, right?
座敷
Zashiki are the Japanese tatami mat rooms, which if you're visiting, you really want to go there. But as someone who's lived here a while, I got to tell you, they're very uncomfortable after a while. If you're going to live there, if you're going to be sitting there for dinner, having dinner for a long time.
日本人もそうだよ
Even for Japanese, we prefer sitting at tables where you can stretch your legs, or at something I love called the
掘りごたつ
I never even knew this word until I saw Maggie's blog, but the horigotatsu, hori means dig a hole, dig, right? And actually what the horigotatsu is, it looks like from above a normal tatami mat, short table sitting on tatami mats. But when you go underneath the table, there's a sunken floor there that has just enough space for your feet to comfortably extend. So you can actually sit on the tatami as if it were a chair. And you'll be sitting right on the tatami, but your feet will be going down underneath the table very comfortably. So if you get a chance, check those out. Of course, when you do make a reservation, you will probably ask for a
テーブル席
But if you want to sit, for example, at a sushi restaurant, sometimes it's better to sit at the counter, so you might ask for a
カウンター席
Yeah, sitting at the counter at sushi is considered the best place because then the chef will give you the freshest, best stuff. Okay, but if you're going with a very big group or you want more of a private atmosphere, you might want a
個室
ko is individual and shitsu is room. On the phone, they may ask you,
コースはお決まりですか
"Have you decided?" Now notice it says okimari. That's the honorable polite O, and kimari is decision. Have you decided yet? So, do you have a decision? And of course, you will answer.
そちらに行ってから決めます。
そちら is there. に行って after I go there, after I go there, I will decide. But notice that you do not use o in front of this kanji. Over here we have o because it's polite. But here it's just kimemasu because it's just you speaking about yourself. And it's kimeru, not kimaru. This is kimari, right? So be careful of that as well. Then the restaurant, of course, will ask you for your name and telephone number.
それではお名前とお電話番号をお願いいたします。
Notice she said,
お願いいたします。
but actually much more common is just onegaishimasu. Onegaishimasu. Much more common, especially for you. You don't have to worry about that kind of super formal level of Japanese. Onegaishimasu is perfectly fine. Now, in this case, Maggie will confirm.
はい、マギーポップコーンです。
Okay, now when you pronounce your name, be sure to pronounce very clearly because they probably will not be used to a foreign name. And even if you do pronounce it clearly, they may ask you to spell your name.
綴りを教えていただけますか?
So the word tsuzuri is spelling. Tsuzuri, the spelling. O oshiete. Oshieru is to teach someone something. And of course, itadakemasu ka is may I receive. So literally, may I receive the teaching of your spelling? That's the literal meaning. Osuzuri. Be sure you know that word, at least you don't need to say it, but you need to be able to understand it when someone asks you. Osuzuri. Suzuri, not osuzuri, I'm sorry. Tsuzuri. Tsuzuri. Oshiete is the Okay, and then of course you'll just you're probably visiting from another country and you probably don't have a cell phone because if you bring your cell phone over and use it, the charges are outrageous. So they will you can say this.
今、携帯がないので、滞在先の電話番号をお伝えします。
I don't have my cell phone with me now, so I will tell you where I'm staying. Your taizai saki is where you are staying. And then, of course, you will say your hotel name. In this case, we're saying Wanwan Hotel. Wanwan, of course, is Bow Wow Hotel. But I'm sure you will stay at a classier hotel. And then, of course, here's a word that is a very beautiful word. That she will want to make sure she's got the right information, the staff. So he will or she will say.
はい、それでは復唱させていただきます。
復唱させていただきます。
これよく聞くと思う。
Now, fuku is to repeat. Yes, we hear this a lot. This is often. I'm sure you'll hear this. Fuku is to repeat something, and sho actually means to chant or sing. So this literally means let me sing that back to you to make sure I've got it correctly. And then you want to, she'll want to confirm what you just said, which is.
明日の8月30日7時からマギーポップコーン様で2名様テーブル席でのご予約。
So this is what you just asked for, right? You say tomorrow, 明日の8月 tomorrow, August 30日 on the 30th, 7時から 7時 of course is 7 から from 7 o'clock at 7 o'clock. Your name, Magi Popcorn Sama. Sama, of course, is only what they say. You never call yourself Sama. De, ni mei sama. Ni mei sama is two people. And you would say futari or something, but when they're talking to you, they will say ni mei sama. And of course, you want a table for two, teiburu seki. De no goyoyaku. Notice the go there is polite. And then we ask you, then she'll verify your telephone number, which is.
お電話番号はでよろしかったでしょうか?
When you hear at the end, de yoroshikatta desho ka, it basically means, is that okay? Or is that right? And then you will answer.
はい、よろしくお願いいたします。
Now, this is the most polite form, but you could also just say.
はい、よろしくお願いします。
Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Or
はい、
お願いします。
Oh yeah, that's easy too. はい、お願いします. That's what I always say. はい、お願いします, because I'm Mr. Casual. Okay, and then they will say, they'll be waiting for you literally, which is.
それではお待ちしております。
それでは, well then, omachi, we will honorably be waiting. しております, we will be waiting for you. And then you will say, and then of course you will go to the restaurant, you will tell them, we have a reservation, which is.
予約をした マギポップコーンです。
And there you go. Okay. And you could also say,
7時から2名で予約をしたマギポップコーンです。
So I have a reservation for 2 under the name Maggie Popcorn for 7 o'clock. Okay. Now let's scroll down a little bit more to some more vocabulary, because you can also use this yoyaku, this reservation sentence, for other things like hair salons. I'm sure most of you have hair. So a haircut in Japanese is... What's wrong? What's wrong?
Your joke.
Well, some people might be bald. Okay, go ahead. Come on.
カット。
Katto, what? Katto is haircut. And the next word.
前髪カット。
Now, mae, the kanji mae, the first kanji there, mae, means in front of. And kami is hair. So actually, literally, front haircut. Now, notice that it's gami, right? Because kami, when you add a word to the front of kami, the K turns to G. So it's not my kami, it's
前髪。
maegami katto. Okay, next word.
シャンプー。
Almost the same as shampoo. That's not so hard. No, so hard. And a hairdryer is
ブロ
bro. And a perm is...
ー。パーマ。
Be careful with this. It's not perm. It's pama. Pama. And if you want to get your hair set or styled, then...
セット。
And if you want it arranged...
ヘアアレンジ。
hair arrange. It sounds almost like... How do you say orange in Japanese?
オレンジ。
How do you say arrange?
アレンジ。
So be careful. You don't want them to... You might accidentally ask them to dye your hair orange. Okay. A dye, of course, is...
ヘアダイ。
hair dye. That's not hard. And then... of course, very similar.
カラー。
Kara. Kara onegaishimasu. Right? Kara onegaishimasu would be, I want my hair dyed, please. Then there's another service, which I don't really understand this. What is this?
ヘッドスパ。
What is that? When they wash your head or massage your head?
Yeah,
with,
massage your
with
head.
what?
Head.
Special shampoo or something? Okay. I basically, I do the low-end stuff, so. And then if you just want to trim, you would ask for...
毛先を揃える。
Ke, of course, is hair. And saki is a different word for hair. There's also kami, but ke is another word for hair. And saki is the end. So please get the ends of my hair to match. So
毛
trim.
先を揃えてください。
Kesaki o soroete. Soroete kudasai. Please trim my hair so the ends of my hair match. And we have more dialogues here, which you've made menus. You've made a dialogue for? Yes, there's a dialogue for. And let's go down to the massage parlor. Now, this is not a happy ending massage parlor. This is a normal, justified, good massage parlor. So don't get any funny feelings, funny ideas here. You can get funny feelings, but just no funny ideas. The most common, is just the most common shiatsu?
指圧、マッサージも。
Massage, okay. Many kinds of massage, right? But very common. They're all over the place in Japan because we're under a lot of stress here. The first word here is
指圧。
the kanji shi means finger, shiatsu. And then massage.
マッサージ。
Massage. Be careful the intonation there. Massage. If you want a quick one, then
クイックマッサージ。
quick massage. So that's quick works fine in Japanese, right? And
カイロ、
go ahead.
カイロプラクティック。
Chiropractic. That's a tough one.
を整体。
Oh, seitai, that's easy. Seitai. I hear that one more often, I think, right? And then, of course,
針。
you should try acupuncture if you get a chance. The kanji there, hari, means a needle, actually.
ちょっと違う感じだけど。
Is it different? Oh, you're right. It's a little different. But it's a variation of needle, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. But the word hari. Oh, the kanji does not mean needle, but the word hari means needle.
そうそう。
Oh, but it's a different kanji. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've noticed that before. Or maybe I knew and forgot. Okay, let's go down to the next vocabulary section, which is what type of massage would you like? There are a few types, for example.
全身コース。
Give me the whole body course. Zenshin. Zen is all. Shin is body. Zenshin course. Or, if you're in a hurry,
上半身コース。
if your shoulders are stressed out, you just may want the top half of your body massage, which is Johanshin. Jo is top, Han is half, Shin is body. Johanshin course. Or, I really enjoy
足裏マッサージ。
Ashi Ura massage. Now, please be careful and wash your feet before you do this. Actually, they'll probably wash your feet
they
for you.
wash.
I'm just joking. Okay. So the parlor person will ask you,
何分のコースでしょうか
Because it's not just the course, but the length, right? The length of the time. I noticed that when I was in Bali, a massage in Bali will cost you about 1,000 yen, and converted, but for an hour. But in Japan, it's like 13,000 yen. It's really expensive. But I guess they have to import the Balinese people. Okay, so skip down here, and let's go to the hotel. What? Hotel vocabulary. Now these are very simple words, but you want to concentrate on your listening here because you may not understand their pronunciation of an English word. For example, a single room is
シングル
and a twin room,
トゥイン
very different, right? And a suite is
スイート
suito at the end, right? That's not sweet like your suite. That's, of course, a suite room. Japanese style room is
和室
and a Western style room.
洋室
And then the room charge is either
宿泊料金
or,
室料
right? Notice the kanji shitsu there means room. You see that wa shitsu, yo shitsu, shitsuryo. There we go. And then sometimes, it's very common for the hotel to come with free breakfast, or the breakfast is included, complimentary breakfast, and that's called?
朝食付き
That just means choshoku is breakfast. Some people say asagohan, but of course for a hotel, it's a little bit more formal, so they would say choshoku tsuki. Tsuki means it's added. You will see tsuki when something's added to something, like it's complimentary. Or if you get a free dinner, then
夕食付き
yushoku tsuki. Sometimes you get both, and those are.
2食
And sometimes there's a whoops, what happened there? There's a kind of a deal, like you have to stay one night, or you have to stay 2 nights to get something. For example,
1泊2食付き
that's a nice hotel, I would imagine. Maybe a ryokan would have
温
that.
泉とかね
Onsen, if you go to one of those traditional Japanese places, they would do that. But sometimes you have no meal, and that's called.
素泊まり
The word su means nothing.
Simple.
Or simple. Well, if someone is not wearing makeup, we say sugao or
すっぴん
suppin, and that's pretty common. Girls will say, "Oh, I'm suppin, don't look at me," right? Or if you're completely naked, like Maggie is most of the time, they say
すっぱだか
suppadaka, p, suppadaka, no clothes at all. Counters for nights are also kind of tricky. 1 night,
1泊
2 nights,
2泊
3 nights,
3泊
4 nights,
4泊
and 5 nights means you should probably have rented an apartment. I guess is that it? I think that's about it, huh?
So
I think that's it for the lesson. Thanks everyone for visiting us. I hope you will go through the whole lesson by yourself. Maggie Sensei put a lot of work, and it's very hard to type with her little stubby fingers. But we do appreciate you your watching or reading our blog rather, and we hope you come back very soon. Anything else?
みんなありがとう
Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next video.